This entitled restaurant owner is about to rage at the tech guy, all because of a broken point of sales register. However, when the call continues, the tech guy discovers that the reason it's not working is because of one stupid mistake the restaurant owner has made. Happy birthday, today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. In the story is me, Codebooker, private tech guy who does IT work, and Ari is Sam, not her real name, the restaurant employee, a 30-something-year-old woman who has worked at this restaurant for many years. The backstory: I had replaced the cash register system at a restaurant because the old one died unexpectedly and was very old and in need of replacement. Moved the point of sale software over to a Dell XE2 and got them a new Elo touchscreen monitor that was bigger and brighter than their old one. They were very pleased with this as it was faster and the big screen was nicer. A day after the install, I got a call from the restaurant's cashier and bartender who handled when customers came in to eat and when they were ready to pay. So she was the sole user of this point of sale system during business hours. The restaurant's owner would get on the POS system after hours every day to get sales totals. Keep note of this, it'll be important later. What happened next went like this. Hey, thanks for calling, business name here. This is Codebooker, how can I help you?
Hey Codebooker, it's Sam at Restaurant Name. I'm having a problem.
Okay, what seems to be the issue?
The new cash register system you set up isn't working.
What do you mean it isn't working? Like, specifically, what is it doing?
The screen is black, and when I tap it, nothing happens.
Okay, are there any lights on the screen?
Yes, a green light at the bottom right corner is flashing on and off.
Okay, that sounds like the PC isn't on. Can you look under the counter for me and tell me if the PC has a green light on it and that it's lit up?
Yes, it does. The light is solid on.
Note that the XE2 is turned around backwards, so the PSU's green light faces you when you look under the counter. It allows easier access to the cables. Have you tried pressing the power button on the back side of the computer? It's a large square button in the top corner.
Yes, and nothing happened.
And it isn't doing anything when you move the mouse or tap on the keyboard?
No, nothing.
Are all the cables connected? There shouldn't be any disconnected plugs under there.
Yep, everything is hooked up. I don't know what to do. Can you just come out here? I have customers starting to come in, and I'll be needing the system to cash them out when they leave.
Sure, I'll head over as soon as I can. So I dropped what I was working on and hopped in the car and rode 20 minutes over there. I walked in the door of the restaurant and headed behind the counter, and as soon as I was behind the counter, I noticed that the XE2 was not indeed on, and the PSU light was not lit up. I pressed the power button and the system sprang to life. After about 20 seconds, it was booted into Windows and was sitting at the logon screen for the POS software. Then Sam walked over to where I was.
Great, you fixed it, and that was really fast too. What was the problem?
It was off. All I did was press the power button, motioning to the power button's location.
Oh geez, I feel so stupid.
It's all good, it's working now. But why was it off? I thought you guys left it on 24/7.
Yeah, we were. I'm not sure.
You mind if I take a look?
No, go ahead.
So I looked at the Windows event logs and saw where it was shut down properly right after the time that the owner checks each day's sales totals. He must have turned it off after he got the totals. So I rebooted the PC into the BIOS and set it to auto boot 30 minutes before they open each day. Then I left and drove back to what I was working on before the call. I haven't had an issue with them since. You're probably familiar with the phrase from the IT crowd, have you tried turning it off and on again? Unfortunately, in this situation, it's just like, have you tried turning it on? That must be the most frustrating thing for people who work tech support. It's like a problem could be the most simple thing like not pushing the on button to something really technical that'll take them hours to fix. And unless they have some sort of guide about what's going on with the system, they don't even know where to start. But having to drive 20 minutes in to literally just push the on button, yeah, that's pretty frustrating. This was in 2013, and I was completely rookie at my job. I had worked as a tech support for maybe 3 months when a call rolled in and I answered, "Hello, this is Up, how can I help you?" An old man answered with, "Hello." He sounded like he was 200 years old or had some disability that caused his speech to become stuttered and mumbled. "Yes, hi, you're talking to Op at company support. How may I help you?"
"The phone's not working."
Note, the incoherent noises were not disturbances in the call, but rather something he did, like rolling around his tongue in his mouth, giving me an impression he was not 100% healthy from the start. Do you have a problem with your phone? Can you give me the number to the affected phone? He gave me the number and I started to troubleshoot. He was about 56 years old and I didn't find any problems. What kind of problem are you experiencing?
I cannot call.
So you cannot make any calls. What happens when you try to make a call?
I can't me my brother.
At this point, I started to think he was having a stroke at some point. I understand, so when you're trying to reach your brother, what happens then?
It sounds.
Is it a fast dotting sound or slow?
Low.
I thought the number he's trying to dial was wrong, or something has happened to the number. Which number has your brother? The old dude could not say, or didn't understand at this point, so I asked for his name. I got his name and searched him in our system. I found him and tried to make a call.
Hello?
This is Op from company. It's about old man.
Has something happened?
Well, he says he cannot reach you, but his phone seems to work.
Well, so what can you do about it?
We talked for a bit and I found out that he indeed has had a stroke and that he is reliant on his phone to be able to call his brother and the hospital. I got back the old man. Hello, thank you for your patience. I got hold of your brother, so his number seems to be working.
I need to call my brother.
He sounded distressed all of a sudden. I understand. Can you just try to call him again? And please repeat the numbers you dial so I can confirm that it is correct.
Must call brother.
Now he seems very stressed. Is it something urgent? Do you need me to call him? The old man now shouting.
Hospital.
I heard something hit the floor. Me now freaking out. Hello? Hello? Are you there? I was thinking, what the F? Did he just fall? A heart attack? I maxed out the sound on the headset, the call was still going, and I could hear a faint breathing. Hello? Can you hear me? Are you conscious? He did not answer. I was freaking out. A light panic gripped me and I froze like a deer in the headlights. I could not think straight. I called his brother because, I don't know, maybe he knew just what happened. Hi again, this is Op. I was just in a call with your brother and all of a sudden he became stressed out and he yelled hospital and then I think he fainted. He seemed to want to come in contact with you. Do you know what just happened?
Oh dear, I think he might have just had a stroke again. The doctors had warned about this. I cannot check on him, I'm 10 miles away.
Me freaking out even more. We must get an ambulance.
Of course we do, but I don't know his exact address.
I have all the information in front of me, I can call them. So I called the emergency number and asked for an ambulance to the customer's address. They asked me to hold the line with them and the old man if I heard him stop breathing, and keep trying to contact him. The police and the ambulance came to the customer's door and tried to open the door after failed communication attempts. 10 minutes after I called the emergency number, the old dude's breath came irregular and weaker. I told them that, and the freaking firemen came and broke down his door with heavy duty equipment. I heard how they found him and tried to talk to him, and how they moved him around. I heard them saying that they have to take him to the emergency room of the hospital, and brought a stretcher to lay him down on, and carry him into the ambulance. I just sat there on my butt like, the whole time, until the woman from the emergency number told me that we could hang up. After that, I called the brother and told him what had happened. He was very upset, and I heard his voice crack a little bit. He told me to call him tomorrow and we hung up. I had no freaking idea what to do. Am I in trouble? I told like everyone at the office what happened, and all of them encouraged me to contact the brother the day after, which I then did. I was nervous and kinda scared when I called. I didn't know how to act because I was not in a situation I had trained for or have ever experienced. The brother picked up and immediately shined up in the voice when I introduced me. He said that he could not thank me enough for what I did, and that I probably saved his brother's life. He actually had a stroke. He went unconscious and hit his head on the living room table in the fall. Luckily it caused minor damage, and his brother had woken up and was alive. He told me that he would personally call my boss to have a talk with her and tell her to give me a raise. I was completely humbled during the entire length of the call. I could barely utter words. I didn't get the raise, but I got my face printed out and put up in the cafeteria with the text, "The super supporter that saves lives." And I'm fine with that. I barely wanted to think about if he didn't survive, or if I passed him off like a weirdo and hung up, just to let him lay there and die. Nothing like this has ever happened to anyone I know, even after 6 years in tech support. I don't know if I was unlucky, or that was luck. I've joked before that tech support are like heroes. In this case, they literally were. You definitely wouldn't expect that as part of your job description. but if you're hearing somebody on the other phone that obviously needs medical attention, what else would you do? Like, of course you'd try and get an ambulance there as soon as you could. You'd understand the hesitation of not knowing what to do though, because it's like, I'm not trained for this isn't my job. I fix computers, not people. My story starts in late 2011. I had just moved to Houston after taking a new job and was anxious to get my apartment ready. Shortly after getting my internet installed, I started having trouble connecting any of my devices to the Wi-Fi, so I called ISP support. What followed was 3 solid weeks of calls to resolve the problem, and after a couple hours on the phone, being told that there is clearly not a problem on their end. I had text from ISP come out twice, only to tell me there wasn't a problem, though when one of them couldn't connect his own device to the Wi-Fi, he said, "Oh, that should be working," and left shortly thereafter. Altogether, I conservatively spent about 20 to 30 hours trying to fix this problem over the course of 3 to 4 weeks. Then, after reaching my breaking point, I took 2 days off work just so I could have an unlimited amount of time to spend on the phone with support trying to fix this. I called ISP with the number I had by then memorized and told the tech support person that answered that my problem was beyond their capabilities and I needed to be passed on to the next level. You can imagine how that went over. After going through the same troubleshooting issues I had done dozens of times, he said, "I'm sorry, I'm unable to help you. Let me pass you on to someone who might have a better idea of the problem." Yeah, no crap. Next comes our level 2 guy. We'll call him Spartacus. Spartacus actually does a few new things with me that the other dozen or so level 2 guys haven't. We go into the back end, change a whole bunch of stuff that I don't recognize, and my wireless begins to trickle to life. It is by no means working, but my devices recognize that there is in fact a router somewhere. Spartacus and I work till about 11 AM, and then exasperated and defeated, he says,
"Look man, I've tried everything I know and I'm really frustrated, so I'm passing you on to a specialist."
I knew I was in good hands when instead of "this is blah blah at ISP tech support etc," I hear, "This is Jeff." I quickly go over what's been happening over the last month, and he joins me in my nearly irate state. He says that he's going to stay with me until we get this resolved. I like Jeff. We start going through things I don't comprehend, and giving him access to my computer and such. Jeff starts to get frustrated. About an hour into the call, he starts asking me really random questions. "You're Googling this, aren't you?" I ask. He replies, "This is mostly what we do to fix things that don't make any darn sense." I like Jeff. Around hour 2 or 3, we've reached a level where we're both comfortable with him working in total silence, occasionally telling me to change or try something. We even took a short break and ate lunch together. Suddenly around hour 4, he asks, "Do you by any chance have the brand new wireless gaming headset from Brand X?" I do in fact have this wireless gaming headset. This is something I've mentioned to several people over the course of the month, but never raised any flags. "Unplug it, don't turn it off, don't disconnect it, remove power cord from the wall." I'll be darned if my internet didn't surge to life right then. At this point, I'm feeling a strange mix of relief and frustration at both myself and everyone I had talked to for not having solved this seemingly simple problem earlier. He mentioned that he's heard of interference coming from them but never directly cancelling out the signal. He seems excited to log this into the system as a possible problem since apparently no one has ever encountered this before. We say our goodbyes and he comps me 6 months of internet for my troubles. Wherever you are, Jeff, you are a hero. That's kind of the in-joke for most of those sort of technical jobs, whether it's tech support or you're a developer, that your official title is Professional Googler, because you may or may not be surprised by how much Googling is done by tech support or a developer as the main part of their job. It makes sense though, right? One person can't know everything for every single technical problem, but there's literally a global library of information out there, so really your job is finding that information and applying it as quick as possible. I got my start in support in the pre-personal computer era while working for a cable company in Southern California. We had a few actual computers, but mostly there were dumb terminals and a token ring network. I was supporting the in-house PCs, but my main responsibilities were as backup to everyone. I was trained to do everything, so when someone called in sick, I was the fill-in guy. If an installer called in sick, I knew how to do installs. If the dispatcher called in sick, I dispatched. My normal schedule put me in the office at 11 AM, and I was there until closing. As the closer, I had all the keys, and all the codes for the alarms. I also took the last 2 hours of support calls before shutting down the phones. That meant I got calls from every person who forgot they had an installation appointment and was ticked that they had to wait 3 or 4 days for the next available install slot. Then one night, I got that call. The one that opened my eyes to the possibilities of the power I held in my pocket, the keys to everything. The customer called in a near panic. He just moved into his apartment, invited all of his buddies over to watch the big game, and while he was busy taking care of the minutiae in preparation for his party, he forgot to be home for the cable guy. What opened my eyes was something he said. "Don't you have someone who lives in the area who can come and install this? I can pay him. What will it take?" It was then that I realized I live in that area, and I'm going to be off work in 15 minutes. And I have access to all of the equipment I need. It's in the warehouse. I won't even be taking anything out of a service vehicle. This is all the extra stuff. I can take the paperwork, fill it out like a normal install, and put it into the system tomorrow when I get to work. Nobody will know. It will just magically be completed. This customer had awakened my inner schemer. I told him that I'd get in touch with a tech that lived in the area and see if he was available. The guy said, "Tell him I'll pay him $50 if he can come right now." So I put him on hold for about 5 minutes, and when I came back I said, "The tech can be there in 30 minutes, about how long it was going to take me to get there after locking up the shop. Not only did everything go as planned, the customer got his install. I got $50, but I also had a couple of beers and pieces of pizza when the install was complete. It was a party after all. That became a regular gig for me. I would lay out all of the local missed installs on the dispatch office after everyone else left for the day and wait for someone who was desperate for an immediate install and quietly suggest that there was a tech who lived in the area who might be willing to make a late night call. Eventually, it expanded to people who were non-pay disconnects. Someone would forget to pay and wanted to reconnect after hours. I'd take their check and an extra whatever dollars they offered to take care of it. For a 19-year-old kid, making an average extra $200 per week under the table in the early 90s was awesome. Some weeks I made more in after-hours service than I did in my regular paycheck.
Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.